I'd like to talk to you about this week's recommended read, which is Henderson Boys, The Escape. As you know, I've talked about Robert Muchamore books before, especially with Cherub, The Recruit, a series about child spies. Now, The Escape and The Henderson Boys is a prequel to The Recruit. So this starts in the summer of 1940. Hitler's army is advancing towards Paris and millions of French civilians are on the run. Amidst the chaos, two British children are being hunted by German agents. These two children are called Paul and Rosie. Now, there is a British spy, Charles Henderson, and he tries to reach them first, but he can only do it with the help of a 12-year-old French orphan called Mark. The British Secret Service is about to discover that kids working undercover will help them win the war. For official purposes, these children do not exist. Now, all of the Henderson Boys and the Cherub Recruit series are in the library, so please feel free to come and borrow one of our books. Now, this week's assembly is on the power of kindness, and what I'm asking you to do by the end of this assembly and for the weekend ahead is to think about how you are going to be kind to other people. Now, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted, and that is what Aesop said. So being kind to others actually shows strength of character. As you can see by the picture, this is the author Mark Twain, and what he stated was, kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. So in other words, no matter what physical or mental state we may be in, kindness is something that we can all understand, okay? And it makes people feel absolutely amazing when they are the giver and receiver of kindness. And what I want you to think about now is that when you're talking to somebody, and when you're in a conversation, you must really try to listen without distraction or interruption. I want you to think about it now. How many times have you been texting on your mobile phone whilst somebody's trying to speak to you? Are you actually giving them the whole of yourself? Are you looking at them? Is your body language towards them? Is your eye contact? Are you looking straight at them? Because people feel that they're valued when you listen really carefully. Now, if somebody's done something bad to you and they do say sorry, do forgive them because that is an act of kindness. Now, one of the things that you can do to be kind is to be polite to every single person that you meet. What I've always found in life is the more I'm polite to other people, they are polite back to me and they're kind back to me because I'm leading by example. Perhaps something that you could do is swap places with a person in a queue. So if, for example, in the canteen or in the hall, you're queuing up for food, maybe you could do something really nice and let somebody in front of you. Or you could say something nice about somebody behind their back. I wonder how many times in the last week somebody has said something negative towards you or about somebody. Why don't we just try and change the way things are and talk about something nice? And then finally, what a lot of you do within school, let's hold a door open for each other. So let's do that as an act of kindness. Now, having good friends is one of the best things that you can ever have. So if someone's feeling low, a little bit down, spend time with them. I appreciate the fact that during lockdown, you can't actually spend time in somebody else's house. However, FaceTime them or Snapchat them or give them a call. You can spend time with them in that way. And one of the things that you can do is give a homeless person maybe a little bit of change, but at least a kind word. Now, kindness does not cost anything, and you'll soon find that that homeless person may have some things in common with yourself. You could also perhaps help somebody with their reading. This week in one of my Year 10 English lessons, one of the females in the class was helping somebody with their reading. So they got a couple of words wrong and then she stated the words out loud and it really helped the lesson to flow, and she did brilliantly by helping them do that. And also they learnt the pronunciation of words as well. Maybe you could listen to the perspective of somebody else, perhaps from a different culture, a different race, a religion, or a different political viewpoint, because this way we're learning a lot more about the world and the place in which we live. I know this might be a bone of contention for some of you, but what about picking up litter, even if it's not yours? So many times we say, you pick up that plate, you pick up that cutlery, you pick up that glass, and people straight away say, but it's not mine. But wouldn't it be a really lovely thing to do if we looked after our own environment together? Now, as you can see, this picture was taken before lockdown. One of the things that you could do is if you're in the canteen or the hall, maybe you could offer to take someone else's plate or cutlery back with yours, which would be a really lovely act of kindness. Or you could even just smile at everyone you see. Ladies, I hope you like your photo. There are other medical, though, mental and physical benefits to being kind to somebody. It can reduce your stress levels and increase your self-worth and self-esteem, so it can make you feel about yourself. Also, by being kind to other people, it actually makes you feel better and it makes you feel good about yourself. It could decrease feelings of loneliness or depression or feeling helpless because you're being kind to somebody, and then you can build up other friendships that way. And it also improves your sense of being connected to somebody else. The opposite of kindness, however, is fear. Sometimes people don't necessarily want to show kindness because it makes them feel vulnerable and weak. And I wonder how many times around school you've heard this: I'm not picking that up. It's nothing to do with me. I'll show him some respect if he shows me some first. I'm not saying sorry. I'll give as good as I get. The one thing I can tell you, however, are that strong people don't put other people down. They lift them up, they bolster them, and they make them feel good about themselves. Now, in some countries, they actually can teach us about kindness towards others. What I think is wonderful about Greece is that kindness towards the elderly is very important, because what they do is they look at how old you are and they appreciate how old you are and that you're perceived as being wiser and more valuable. So therefore you're respected greatly. In Naples, in Italy, what some customers do there is they pay in advance for the poor to have a free cup of coffee by putting in their receipts into a pot. So they may say, and excuse pronunciation, cafe sul peso, which is a cup of coffee paid for in advance as a random act of kindness. So you could go into a coffee shop and you could say, please, can I have one of these coffees? A company called Reddit, okay, one of the things that they do is a random act of pizza kindness, where hungry people can basically get pizza delivery paid for, which has already been done in advance by other internet users. In Japan, people show their kindness and gratitude by bowing to each other, and the younger person bows to the older person, and it's a lovely sign of showing your respect for others. And the best one that I think is in South Korea. In the 14th day of every month, it's a day of kindness. There's also a day for forgiveness and even a day for hugging. I think I'd really like that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the clip here, and I want you to have a look at and see what this man actually gets for being kind. Okay, so what can we actually see by showing random acts of kindness? Well, he doesn't become financially richer, and he doesn't become a social media star, and he doesn't appear on TV. However, what he does receive is what money can't buy. By giving to others, he witnesses the happiness that he brings to them, and he receives a range of emotions. He reaches a deeper understanding of what it means to be human, and he feels valued and loved. So, the moral of this assembly: a simple act of kindness can create an endless ripple effect. And from the rest of the day today and for this weekend, I want you to go around doing random acts of kindness to see how you think and feel afterwards. Wishing you all a lovely weekend. Take care.